In June 2025, my dad and I attempted to summit Mont Blanc via the Gouter route. We booked this via Adventure Base, which is a guiding company, so they arranged all of our accommodation in Chamonix and also arranged all of the huts and the guides during the trip. First, as part of the trip, we had an acclimatization climb of Gran Paradiso, which is the tallest mountain solely located in Italy. This also allowed us to get to know our guide Catalin, or Boo Boo, which is his nickname. My dad and I have never done anything alpine either, so this was a really good training climb for us to get used to being roped together, and also it was our first time using crampons, so it really helped us prepare for the climb of Mont Blanc. I've also never done anything at altitude, so I wasn't particularly sure how my body was going to react to being at high altitudes, so having this climb before Mont Blanc was really beneficial for us. It also gave us our first experience of staying in the mountain huts in the Alps, which was an incredible experience, and the food in the Italian one was amazing. We left early in the morning to summit Gran Paradiso. The conditions were good and my body seemed fine at altitude, which I was really happy about. Once we were back in Chamonix, we had a day to recover before we started the ascent of Mont Blanc. At first, we had to get the Bellevue cable car, which took us up to 1,800 metres from Les Houches, and then from there we'd have to take the Mont Blanc tramway, which would take us up to about 2,362 metres.
Bloody hell, what a view. So up there's a Gouter hut. That's where we're staying the second night. Fucking long way up. Good lord. I thought it would be like more
Due to the renovations at the platform at the tram stop at the top, there's only 3 trams per day that go to that stop and it's reserved for mountaineers. Once you get off the tram, you have to be quite quick to move, otherwise you might get caught behind quite a few other groups. The big change in altitude when you first get off that tram really hit me quite hard as well, especially with the quick pace we were putting on just to get away from that area and make space for other people. The approach on that day was also very hot. There wasn't much shade and the forecast for the next few days was scheduled to be really sunny but very hot. This was both good and bad news. I'll explain why it was potentially bad news later on. We finally caught our first glimpse of the first hut that we'd be staying in after 2 hours of hiking, which was the Tet Rus hut. This hut is at 3,167 metres of elevation. Like the hut in Italy, we'd be having breakfast and dinner here and also staying the night. It's also a place where we can leave items that won't be necessary for the summit push the following day. The mountain huts are very basic on Mont Blanc. There's no running water, so you have to buy all of the water that you need for the trip, whether that's for brushing your teeth or just keeping hydrated, and it's €8 for every litre bottle of water that you need.
That was nice.
Like in the Italian one as well, the food was absolutely fantastic.
Possibly the sweatiest I've ever been.
The next part of the climb was probably the most dangerous and daunting part of the entire trip. Most people, when they're at the Tet Rus huts, will spend a significant amount of time staring at one section of the route that they'll be doing next, and that part is called the Grand Couloir. The reason that this section is so dangerous is that it's a narrow gully with a glacier above it. The issue is that when the temperatures rise, the glacier begins to melt and it releases rocks, which will then end up going down into the couloir and ends up getting channeled into the part that you have to cross. There's plenty of videos online of people getting caught during the rockfall, and it's part of the reason why Mont Blanc is statistically one of the most dangerous mountains in the world to climb. Some of the rocks that fall are huge. Even if you do not get hit by rockfall, there's a sheer drop below which if you fall down you'd be very unlikely to survive. During the start and the end of the season, so June, September, this is when you have the highest success rate of crossing without an incident because the temperatures are still quite low at night, which means the couloir stays frozen. This is also why most people cross the couloir early in the morning because it gives you a far higher chance of not crossing during rockfall. Sometimes in the summer months this entire route is closed because it's just too dangerous for people to cross.
Yeah, ignore this uphill rope. Just stay with me. Mind your crampons, guys. Ice axe here, guys. Look in the snow like this, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Face towards the snow, just pressure in front. One point, and ice axe in the snow really strong. Keep a bit of distance, trust your crampons. Yes, and now to the side, and now downward in the water. Keep moving this, and up here. Use the horns here for the ice axe. This one. Don't pull only, give him some time, don't pull only. Don't go upward, Robert, and into the water downward. Very good, guys. Woo. Mind your crampons, stay on the big steps, go a bit slower. Ice axe on the side. Don't step on the rope. Getting easier, let's try to move a bit more forward. Solid step, don't intercept yourself. All good?
Yep, all good.
Well done, huh?
Derrière Cynthia à gauche, ça marche. Et avance encore. Là-haut. Oui, merci. Ouais.
Thankfully, we crossed the couloir safely without any rocks falling. Once we crossed, we then had a 400-metre scramble up to the top, which was a lot of fun. At home, I tend to do quite a lot of climbing, so I really enjoyed this section. And even when me and my dad are out in the mountains, we always tend to pick places where we can do a lot of scrambling, so we felt quite comfortable doing this. As part of our trip as well, there was a third person climbing Mont Blanc with us, an American guy called Jules. On Mont Blanc, it's generally one guide between two people, so we had Kathleen as our guide, and then Jules was with another guide called John. They went off ahead of us during this climb.
When you pull your hands on something, assess if they are solid before pulling too much. Yeah? Almost everything here is loose.
Oh, we caught. Look. There we go. I'm not coming with you.
Careful, everything is loose around. Stay on your feet. To the side.
Oh, watch your legs, Dad. Try and get out between your legs. There you go.
Good guys, keep going.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, watch your steps, try to step.
There you go.
Steps. Keep going. More guys. We don't totally stop yet.
No.
We have a short traverse. Let's
Wow.
Okay guys, you step over the cable.
Once we reached the Gouter hut, We then had time to hydrate, eat some food, and drop off anything more that was unnecessary for the summit climb, so that we were light as possible. Once we left the hut, we then began our summit push. The first section involved climbing Dôme de Gouter, which is a mountain that sits on the shoulder of Mont Blanc. You can see from how small all of the other groups of climbers looked that this was an incredibly steep climb. It was far steeper than anything we had experienced at Gran Paradiso.
One step at a time. There it is. That's the summit. Fuck me. Fucking hell.
Well done.
That was.
Once we cleared that section, the next landmark was the Valo Hut. This is an emergency refuge that traditionally people use to cover from the weather when the conditions are bad. It was at this point that Jules was really starting to struggle, but he kept on pushing.
Good. Guys, you will find out. Okay, take it
Good.
easy, you will find out. Just take a minute, guys.
It was sections like this that made me realise that having the trip up Gran Paradiso was really beneficial. It took my dad longer to get used to the crampons as he had also never used them before, and it's really easy to catch your feet on them, which on sections like this could be very dangerous. You really need to walk like a duck or a cowboy.
Mind your feet, but have a look on the left also, it's impressive, huh? Come on.
Wow. Whew.
It was near this section that my legs were absolutely starting to ache, but fueled by a lot of Costco dried mango and chocolate covered pistachios, we pushed on.
He's doing well. A bit more, couple more stops. He's just there, a bit more than an hour. We feel the jelly in the breakfast.
I don't know if I can make it.
Alright,
You got this.
don't think about it.
Just one step at a
Just
time.
one step more, one step more. Yeah, so nicely until you get into the track, and then carefully on the track. Mind your crampons, huh? Don't intersect your feet in any way, please. Yeah, all good.
More of that wind, please. God, that's dropped down to the right.
Nice and slow. Control your ankle. Slow and solid. Then you follow the direction higher, that's the scale. Slow and solid, never right. Can advance a little bit. Let's move. Stand a bit control.
I know, I know the try, but I just remind you that it is my job. It's nothing personal. Okay, here, you step hard. Okay, it's very well. It's very good.
Getting a little bit better. Stay focused on your feet.
Monica, road side.
Follow my track. Really good boulevard this year, huh?
What's the rope, Dad?
I didn't manage to capture it because the battery on the Insta360 died just before we got to it, but there was a horrific false summit just before we got to this very last section.
Bonjour. Woo! Oh, we did it. I'll take it back what I said yesterday.
One second, guys.
This is definitely the most sweatiest I've been now.
Whose idea was this?
Yours. A long time ago. Welsh 3000s was also yours.
Congrats, guys. Hi.
Congrats.
Really well done, guys.
Thank you so much.
Let's have one group hug.
Ah! Oh wow. Come on.
I was so happy to see that Jules made it as well, as he was really struggling on the summit day but kept on pushing.
Let's make some noise, guys! Woo! Wow, congrats!
Made it!
Although we made it to the summit, we've only made it halfway as we had to get back down again.
Take it really slow this section, guys. You have to be super solid. Ice axe in the right hand, above you, just for balance, and the step above you. Super good step. One.
Charles, I see it, Dad.
Yeah, there you have to be extra careful. Solid step there. Leave space for both.
We headed back down to the Gouter hut, walking through the intense heat with the sun reflecting off the glacier. We stayed the night at the Gouter hut and then woke up early the next morning so that we could cross the couloir before any rockfall started. Once we left the hut, we were treated to the most spectacular sunrise I've ever seen.
Take a turn to the right.
We then had the difficult task of climbing down the 400 metres that we scrambled up the morning before. This was quite tricky as there were sections that were covered in snow and then also sections where it was just rocks. We wore our crampons the entire way down. You also had to be very careful not to knock over any loose stones and endanger anyone climbing below you. Once we were back at the Tet Roos hut, we had breakfast, packed the rest of our items that were left the day before, and then headed down the rest of the mountain back to the train station. As there was only 3 trains running each day, we decided to catch the train at a lower station rather than having to wait an extra 3 hours for the train at the highest stop. We did have to run down the tracks for the last section as we were close to missing the train and we didn't fancy waiting an extra hour in this sun. This was my first experience in mountaineering and it hopefully won't be my last. It's a completely different experience to what I'm used to and it was the most incredible trip. To be able to do this with my dad as well made it extra special, especially since this was the 4th time he tried to do this trip. The previous 4 trips either got cancelled due to COVID or due to issues with it being cancelled by a different company. I also managed to raise over £800 for a type 1 diabetes charity during this trip called Breakthrough T1D. They do an incredible job of supporting type 1 diabetics throughout the UK. If you do want to donate to them, there will be a link to donate in the description. I would really recommend if you did want to do a similar trip, do it with the Venture Base, as they were fantastic during the entire trip. Our guides Cataline and John were also amazing. They were both so knowledgeable, and if you do want to do a trip similar and you have no experience in mountaineering, it's highly recommended that you hire a guide. Thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.